It's the Midwest Connectz, and we keep the streets on smash.
Things take you girl. Take some more paper and the teller. Going for the bullshit right now.
Other promoters, other marketers, other bloggers in these markets, so that when we get there, we can do things like this and help the artists get their word out a little bit. So that's what we're trying to do, is connect the dots.
Every time back from Mobile, Alabama to be here tonight, you know what I'm saying? We got Chicago coming up, we got Cincinnati coming up. We're doing a 5-city tour with Empire, giving away a single distribution deal in 5 Midwest cities. We got Benzino coming up on market. We got Benzino coming to his market. We got a lot of stuff working currently. Big Buzz is coming to our Halloween party. I don't know if y'all get that with country rap, but we doing that for Halloween, man. Just a lot of stuff working. Like I said, I'm excited to be here. We're here to check out the talent. Hopefully bring somebody on a couple of these shows. You feel me? Tonight, so everybody tune in. Make sure y'all networking, because again, your network is your net worth. You hear me? Midwest Connectz, you ain't connected? Let you respect it.
What's up, everybody? What's up? Y'all know what's going on. You have now tuned in to another episode of the Connectz radio show. And if you're familiar with the show, you are familiar with what I do here. My job is to bring you all the hottest and unsigned and independent hip hop and R&B, plus interviews with the brightest stars in the culture. And we are not lacking on stars this week. We got a dope interview with none other. She reps the East Coast. She cool with Mr. Hub, repping that Hub life all the way from Jersey, New York. Y'all know what's going on. Philly, what's up? We live in studio with Penelope. Penelope, what's going on?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm blessed, man. Happy to be here. How have you been?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much.
So talk to me, man. You're a creative. Are you also from Jersey?
I'm not. I'm from
Okay.
Louisiana. So I'm a Southern girl.
Southern? Where are you from?
Louisiana, Baton Rouge.
How did you link up with Mr. Hub all the way in Jersey?
Business.
Okay.
Our organizations collided, and he heard some of my stuff outside of business, and then that's when we kind of talked about the music and stuff like that. So it was crazy but divine.
Awesome. So Baton Rouge definitely has a lot of flavor, definitely has some different stuff going on. Talk to me about how you got your start in music and what it means to you.
Starting in music so of course my grandmother put me on the praise and worship team at 5. But then my mom was sending me all across the country to American Idols. So it's been a road. I've been writing ever since I was about 11. And my mom pushed me to create my own music around 16, but I didn't come out as an artist officially until I was about 25. So
Okay, so talk to me a little bit about that American Idol journey and kind of being on that track. Obviously, that's different than the way a lot of artists get on. So talk to me about kind of the ins and outs of that.
It was, to be honest, I never made it past the second set. Before we got into the big stars, we had to go 3 rounds of elimination. So I get past the first one. The second one was always some buzzkill, and I cannot lie. I was in a line with people who sung horribly. They sung, it was crazy. They made it to TV and we didn't. So it was crazy. It was exciting. It did teach me how to handle rejection. Outside of that, it did build character. So it was heartbreaking, but my best friend, one of my old friends, Nick, he used to join me when we did those things because he sang as well, and he would try out as well. So that was, yeah, it brought a lot out of you.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So then you said you kind of started creating music and putting your own wave together around 16 and then didn't come out. What was kind of the delay?
So it wasn't really a delay. I just wanted to focus more on school. I was running track. I was a cheerleader. I had a lot going on at that time. So it was like, I love music. I wanted to do music, but I didn't want to pursue it at that time. It was like, I'm going to push back on this later and just enjoy what I have going on right now at the moment.
And ain't nothing wrong with that because you never get your youth again. You know what I mean? So that definitely means a lot. So fast forward, here we are. You're 25. You're ready to come out. So is Penelope your name or is that a stage name?
No, Penelope is actually my stage name. My real name is. So I fell in love with the name Penelope, of course, from Criminal Minds. I love Criminal Minds. Who doesn't? But Penelope Garcia was amazing. Loved her colors, obviously. I loved everything about her, really. Her glasses, I have bought the same glasses, if not similar glasses. Yeah. But I always gravitated to that name. But later in life, I discovered that Penelope broken down as Penny Elope, and I'm married to Ian. So that's how I stuck with it. I was like, okay, that name stuck to me for a reason. So
for sure. No, that's dope. That's definitely a dope stage name. And you knew what it was because you don't know a lot of Black folks named Penelope. So when I saw it, I was like, okay, I have to ask, you know what I mean? So tell me about what it's like, you know, your influences coming from the South and such a rich musical history in Louisiana and kind of that neck of the woods. So, you know, you get started as a youngin', you were in church like so many of us who took the musical path were. What kind of was your inspiration, you know, coming up?
Coming up, Jasmine Sullivan, of course, who was inspired by Jasmine Sullivan, Alicia Keys, You Don't Know My Name, all of those artists in that time, in that era, Destiny Child, Aaliyah, of course, 4-page letter like on every single note that I wrote to my crush, you know, but it was a lot of them. Being in the South, I would say we had a lot of, well, the music is the same either way the cookie crumbles, but those are my inspirations. Jasmine Sullivan, of course, like I said, all of those fun artists.
No doubt. So you've been at it for a little bit. You've been across the country. Tell me what's your number one music memory so far?
So crazy enough, I have shared the stage with P&B Rock, God rest his soul. I did 24 Hours of Peace with him. He was very, very, very humble guy, very gentle guy. He didn't care who it was walking up to him. He was very humane. So I've shared the stage with P&B Rock as well as Queen Latifah. So that's been super, super exciting. And that was 2 different years. So it was it's exciting to work with different, to share a stage with people that you actually look up to and they have the hype and the numbers and things like that.
Okay. No, that's super dope to be able to share stages and platforms with people like you said you look up or have some acclaim. So talk to me about what you want. What is it, artists, obviously everybody kind of wants the dream of making it super big, but what is it you want your art? What is it you want your legacy to be 5 years, 10 years down the road?
I honestly want my music to communicate things that communicate emotion, right? All music is a different emotion, but I'm trying to find the words for those who aren't really great with words, not just in dating life, but in mental health, not just in mental health, but in life in general. My goal is to, I don't know, just enjoy music and hope that others enjoy it.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Talk to me about your creative process when you really lock it down and you're ready to get in studio. How do you get started? Like, how do you beat the writer's block?
So I'm currently in writer's block. It depends on how deep I'm in it. Sometimes I'd watch a movie and kind of get inspiration. I love watching, well, I hated it when I was a child, but I love watching love stories now. So now when I watch love stories, I pick up certain little things from it and I'm like, ooh, I can write about that. Or if I'm watching a horror movie with my daughter because she loves horror movies, I'm trying to pick up something from somewhere. Right. But that's if I'm in the beginning stages of writer's block. Right now, I'm dealing with a baby, and she's in sleep regression, and my brain is not really functioning at the capacity. So I'm trying to pull inspiration from sleep deprivation. So,
okay, that's a different place.
So I'm thinking about and reading, of course. Reading helps me as well visualize things. So yeah, that's how I pull myself out of writer's block most of the time.
Okay. Everybody's got a different little mode. So when you go in studio, are you recording at home, or do you have a studio that you frequent to kind of get in your creative mode?
So initially, I do have a home studio, which I'm currently in. I literally will come in here I used to come here at 2:00 in the morning. I'm telling you, whenever something was laid on my heart or whatever, I had a dream about a song or something like that, I come into the studio, in the home studio, and I officially record it in the studio at the hub. So it's here first just to lay it down rough, to get it out, to make sure I have all of my lines straight. And then when I get to the hub, I can kind of perfect it. I think you're muted. Okay. No.
Long days, even on the night, I've been pretending I didn't hear you cry. Strong ways I'll never understand. The pressures of being a man, you become so. One word triggers you, I promise. I'm concerned about you. Music's the only way I can get it through. You've been telling me you'll find the tremble in your tone, your line. And we just talk about it, maybe. I am here for you, baby. No judgment, no, I won't say a word. This transparency, this conversation do not hurt. Long days, even I've been pretending I didn't hear you. Strong ways I'll never cannot share my fear. You're gonna break down, and I'm not here. My man, you love me 'cause my depression leaves when there's acceptance of your reality. So tell me that your shadow work has been done and not deferred. Dream doesn't work that way. Your heart carries that way. Stop this lying to yourself. All your trainings haven't helped. You're going through trauma by yourself. Nobody keeps the score. How long can this go on for? How long can you live? Mental and physical breakdown. I don't want to lose you right now. Long days, even longer nights. I've been pretending I didn't hear you.
Back. I think we're good on the audio. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. I do want to apologize for the technical difficulties. I wasn't used to that. So I went ahead and played the single. We didn't get a chance to introduce it. We didn't get to do a lead in, but I didn't want to leave the fans hanging. So we're going to go back and do kind of a after effect. So talk to me about the single. The single is catchy, is real rhythmic. Talk to me about it.
So that song was actually written for the guy that I was dating. I'm sorry, my fiance. Boyfriend at the time. He was dealing with a lot of depression. He had recently lost his brother and all this other fun stuff. Was going through a lot. And I actually heard him cry one time on the phone. We were long distance relationship. It was a long distance relationship. Like I said, I was in Louisiana. He was obviously in New Jersey. And yeah, that song was my kind of way, as you heard in the song. It said, music's the only way to get through to you. And that's the God honest truth. You know, you could tell him all day what you hear or try to convey your emotions, but he's only going to listen to it if it's in song. So I put it in a song and he listened to it and was like, wow, I'm sorry. But that song was about.
No doubt. The body keeps the score. Now, talk to me about the song, because that song actually made it to the soundtrack for what seems to be Bruce Willis's last starring role in Assassin. So there's definitely some backstory there. Obviously, it's gonna do some numbers. So talk to me about how you got in that position. That's huge.
Crazy enough, this was before the mention of it being Bruce Willis' last movie, before any sickness, any of that news came. None of that news was abroad. However, they did ask, what songs did we feel would make a global impact? And that's one of the songs, of course, because there are a lot of men dealing with depression, don't want to talk about it, blah, blah, blah. Right? So I was like, I'm going to go with that song. And they were like, it's an action movie, and he was dealing with something with his girlfriend. So it was all leading to that song, right? But then when Bruce Willis came, they hit the news that Bruce Willis, that was his last movie, and he was sick and all this other stuff. And I was like, wow, again, divinity. That was super divine for that song to actually be on there, because I was actually going based off of the character plays. I wasn't going off of reality. So when we had already signed the papers and everything, and I was just like, prayers. But again, that's crazy how God works. So I was just happy that we selected that song because, again, global impact.
For sure. Who handles the production? Because again, it's very melodic. It's a song that people can get into very easily. It's easily relatable. There's a lot, you know what I mean, going on. So talk to me. Who produced that? Do you produce? How did that come about?
I do not produce. Trevor Steele. He is an amazing producer. Most of all of my songs. I'm not gonna say most, all of my songs. He's produced all of my songs. We get in the studio, he's locked in, and I love it because all I have to do is sing something, and he's a saved, so it's churchy, so you're gonna feel every single thing that you're saying. And we got in the studio that day, and he heard where I wanted to go, and he played on it. So that's how we get in the studio, and we just kind of go in on based off of each other's how we feel it should go. Should this be slow? Should this be fast? Should this be jazz? Should it be R&B? That we just throw ideas out there. But working with him, Trevor Steele, he's amazing.
Awesome. No, that's dope. And so obviously we can expect more good work from the duo here. So talk to me. Do you have a project coming, or are you just kind of working singles? How's it going?
No, I'm over singles. So I released that song and a couple of other songs, and I'm just like, okay, let's talk about this album. I've been on my manager. I've been on the CEO of the label. I'm like, hey, listen, we got to get this album going, because there are a lot of songs that I know will do numbers, so to speak. Because it's not just the emotion, it's stuff that we're missing in music now. And this was music that I made 2 years ago. So I'm like, we need to get this out. Like, I'm ready to push this, because our music, oh my goodness, like I said, with Trevor and with our engineer, everybody worked so hard on this project. So that's what I have coming out next. It's going to be Penelope's Therapy is the name of the album. Because again, when I get in the studio, I just want everything out. I don't want to hold anything in. I don't want to suppress anything. I don't want to become a Coke bottle and just explode. So this album is actually all of my little emotions: happy, sad, lovey-dovey, falling out of love. So it's a lot.
Okay. No, she said, I'm giving you guys everything. So when you get to express yourself like that in the studio, I actually asked the artist last week, it makes you vulnerable. Is that something you want to give to the fans, or is it something that's just part of your process?
No. I want to give them the vulnerability. I want to make people cry. If I can make you cry, I want you to release it, let it out. But if I can make you laugh, which is some of the songs you actually will have like a ha-ha moment, but if whatever emotion I can get out of it, I'm here for it. But being in the studio, it does open up this vulnerable space. So I do completely understand that completely, because there were times that I actually stopped singing because some of the songs got too heart-wrenching. So
no, I can dig that. So you're an artist, you're getting placements, you've been around the country, you have accomplished things in the industry. So if you had an artist under your wing, what's the best advice you could give them?
Oh, make sure you fall in with the right team. Because there can be
elaborate on that for me.
There can be some people in this specific industry that will harp on your gift and use it for their own benefit. Make sure I write all of my songs. Making sure you have a team and not somebody who's just looking for a come up. Like I said, with Trevor, he and I work great together. But if it was, I've seen literally firsthand, where there are producers who really couldn't care less about what you have going on or about you. Just give them their money. And making sure you have like I said, with my manager, I could tell him, hey, listen, I don't feel comfortable with this, and he's going to correct it. And I don't have to step out of Penelope. I'm still in my position. So that's what I mean by having a team that's going to stand behind you 110%. Because again, some people will prey on you and prey on your gift as long as you keep giving. And you have to make sure they're for you, you know, and everybody in the industry is not for you. They're for them. Most people are for themselves. Most.
Yes. So what's that vetting process like? You know what I mean? Obviously, you're not going to know till you kind of go through it a little bit. Do you vibe check? How do you know what I mean? Talk to me about.
You got to go through it. Some stuff you got to go through, but also there are some giveaways. You know,
yeah.
For me in the beginning when I was in Baton Rouge, there was one engineer who I stepped in the booth with him, got assist. So he would correct me on certain things. He's like, hey, no, we ain't gonna let that pass, you know. But there was another one when he wasn't in, there was another one that I had to work with, and it was like, oh yeah. You know, it was just like whatever, long as he gets paid. And I kind of cut my time short with that specific engineer. But working with when it's like that, you can kind of tell it's kind of out loud. Also, the fake support. There's a lot of that, you know, but it's like it's a hidden motive of what can I get behind this or what can I get from this. Some of the stuff you can pick up on if you've lived a little bit, you know, but some stuff you do have to go through, unfortunately, like having poor management, you know, that's inevitable because sometimes you just
and sometimes it's not even bad intention. Sometimes people just don't have the resources necessary or the resource. You know what I mean? Sometimes you as an artist or a creative, sometimes you might be a little above where that management team can take you or where that particular business. So sometimes it's not always ill intention, but you're right. You do have there's certain check boxes that where you're at in your career, they need to check these boxes as well as you do on the business side to make sure that the relationship is as successful as possible. So I get it. I've dealt with artists for a long time, dealt with labels for a long time. So I get what you're saying. You got to live a little bit. You got to go through it. And then when you see it, you kind of know it. You know what I mean? You know it a little bit better.
Yes. Working with a lot of engineers, producers, you like I said, it comes with experience, but like I've been doing this since I was 16. So I know who's really for me by the way that we're vibing. You know what I'm saying? You're not focused on the time. You know what I'm saying? It's just we're vibing. We're literally in this together. But yeah.
What's up? That's dope. So if I'm looking for you, if I want to get online and I want to find Miss Penelope, where am I looking?
So I am on all platforms: TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. I'm sorry, X. I am on Facebook and I am Penelope right under my name. That's how I am across all platforms. It's the same name. I am Penelope with 3 E's.
There you go. You are connected. You are respected. We definitely appreciate you stopping by the show. Is there anything I didn't ask or anything you want to let the fans know before you go?
Nope. I love y'all and I hope y'all have a great day.
All right. We appreciate you tapping in and we will make sure to stay tuned to what you have coming next. All right, everybody. Make sure y'all tap in with Miss Penelope on all your favorite socials. Y'all heard her. She's on TikTok, IG, Facebook, X, formerly as Twitter. Y'all know what goes on here. Again, this is the Connectz Radio Show. My job here is done this week. I brought y'all some fire music. I brought y'all a dope artist. You know what I mean? And that's what we do. All you have to do is tap in. We're everywhere. All of our interviews, this and every other interview we've ever done can be found on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you catch your favorite podcast. Plus, we were live on YouTube, Facebook, and X, and you can catch the playback on those stations as well, man, those platforms as well. Y'all know what's going on. Tap in with the kid at The Real Uncanny on all your favorite socials. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. This is the Connectz Radio Show. Every show is powered by bettersblog.com, getyourbuzzup.com, midwestmixtapes.com, straightofficial.com, the Fleet DJs, the Nerve DJs, and of course, the Midwest Connectz. You know the routine. If you ain't connected, you ain't respected.